In this feature video, we're going to look at remote 10 scene triggering with GeNetix nodes. This is something added in our version 3.4 firmware or higher. In the setup I've got three GeNetix nodes. I've got a GN5 on the front here with a power connected, and behind me I've got a GeNetix GN2 on each side. So I've got three nodes in the system and I've got a light connected to each of them. If we jump onto MagicQ here, you can see in Setup, Net Manager, I can see my three devices here. If you're not aware, GeNetix nodes can store static scenes on them without a console being needed in the system. We've added a new option in version 3.4. Once you've loaded your scenes, and you can send scenes from your playbacks or executes in MagicQ. So I've built up a couple of playbacks which set my fixtures to red, white, green, blue, and a red, white and blue scene. And all I need to do per node is click on it and hit my send scenes button. I can send playback 1 to 10 to each node individually. Once I've done that, the scenes are stored on the devices, and for triggering, of course, a GN5 has our 10 scene port. You can connect a 10 scene wall plate directly into it and run it as a standalone system. I could trigger the 10 scenes on this GN5 from a wall plate without a console. But for products like our GN2s or maybe our GW2 nodes, you might have other nodes distributed around the venue, and with no console there, you might want to trigger them. So in version 3.4, if we come back into MagicQ here, you can see there's a new option on the nodes for your remote activation. So you can see 10 scene remote activation is enabled, and this not only enables the sending of a 10 scene data, so if I have a 10 scene wall plate connected to my GN5, it will now send the remote command, but on other nodes, when this is enabled, allows it to receive the remote 10 scene command. So it's an enable for both sending and receive of the commands. You can turn this off per node, so on say the GN2 here, I could switch it off if I wanted. It will then allow me to take the console out of the system. So I've now cleared from what I'm sending from a console, and I can now trigger a scene, white, red, green, from my wall plate. It's triggering the scene on the GN5 and then remotely sending out to the other nodes. If I jump into MagicQ here, you can see if I go to one of my GN2s, for example, and I go to the options and I disable 10 scene remote activation, if I now go ahead and trigger a scene, you can see only these two are now changing. This one is ignoring the remote scene trigger. So a new option in version 3.4 firmware for remote scene activation on GeNetix devices.